The rain hammered against the penthouse windows like 1,000 unspoken regrets, drowning out the laughter from the strip club we'd ditched hours ago. I clutched my whiskey glass, the ice clinking like a countdown to midnight, watching Alex, my best friend since we were scrawny kids stealing smokes behind the bleachers, sway unsteadily on the leather couch. His tie loosened like a noose he'd finally slipped. In that split second, as his eyes locked onto mine with a fire I'd never seen before, he leaned in and kissed me, not a peck, not a joke, but a desperate, world-shattering claim that tasted of bourbon and buried truths. I'd always known Alex was the sun in my orbit, pulling me through the gray haze of lesson plans and parent-teacher conferences in our sleepy suburb outside Chicago. At 34, I was the steady one, Ethan Harper, high school history teacher, the guy who quoted Lincoln to bored teens and volunteered at the local shelter because it felt like mending something broken in me. Alex, 2 years my junior, was the storm, sharp-suited lawyer in the loop, defending big firms with a silver tongue that could charm a jury or a barista. We'd met at 15, bonded over bad haircuts and worse heartbreaks. And for nearly 2 decades, our friendship had been the one constant: road trips to Wrigley Field, late-night confessions over pizza, the kind of easy rhythm that made other people jealous. He was straight as an arrow, or so I thought, engaged to Sarah, the poised marketing exec who'd swept into his life like a summer breeze. All blonde waves and wedding Pinterest boards. Me, I'd dated women in fits and starts, convincing myself the ache in my chest was just loyalty, not longing. But that night, with the city lights blurring into neon accusations below us, everything cracked open. The party had started innocently enough. A raucous send-off in his sleek downtown loft. The kind of place that screamed success with its exposed brick and skyline views. A dozen guys from his firm, my colleagues who'd crashed the invite list, and a keg of craft IPA that flowed like it could wash away doubts. Strippers had been the plan, cheesy, obligatory, but Alex vetoed it midway through the first awkward twerk. His laugh too loud, his eyes darting to me like I held the remote control to his unraveling. Enough of that bullshit, he declared, clapping my shoulder hard enough to jolt me. Let's make this about us. Ethan. Real memories. Us. The word hung there, innocent on the surface, but it coiled in my gut like smoke from a hidden fire. By 2 a.m., the crowd had thinned to echoes, hangover-bound suits stumbling into Ubers, leaving behind crumpled napkins and the faint scent of cologne mixed with regret. It was just us now, sprawled on the rug like we'd done 100 times before, but the air felt thicker, charged with the storm outside and the one brewing inside. Alex poured another round, his hands trembling just enough to slosh amber liquid over the rim. To freedom, he toasted, clinking his glass against mine with a grin that didn't reach his eyes. Freedom. From what? The wedding in 3 weeks? The life he'd scripted so perfectly? I took a swig, the burn steadying me. You're going to be miserable if you don't slow down. Man. Sarah's going to kill you if you show up hungover to the rehearsal. Sarah, perfect. Patient Sarah, who baked cookies for my classes and called Alex her forever project. She'd never suspected a thing. And why would she? Alex was the golden boy, the one who proposed on a yacht at sunset, ring glittering like a promise he could keep. He laughed, but it cracked, raw and jagged. Sarah. Yeah. She's everything, right? Stable. Safe. He set his glass down, running a hand through his dark curls, the ones I'd ruffled 1,000 times in jest. His blue eyes, usually so steady in a courtroom, flickered with something wild, untamed. But what if it's all a lie? Ethan, what if I've been lying to everyone? To her. To you. My heart stuttered, a traitorous thud against my ribs. Lies? We'd shared everything. His first internship heartbreak. My botched proposal to Lisa 3 years back. The nights we'd crashed on each other's couches after family holidays turned toxic. What the hell are you talking about? I pressed, leaning closer, the rug burning my knees. The rain outside softened to a patter, mirroring the hush falling between us. He swallowed hard, Adam's apple bobbing like a confession on the edge. You. It's always been you. The words landed like a punch, stealing my breath. Before I could process the shock, the thrill, the terror, he surged forward, his lips crashing into mine with a hunger that shattered the dam we'd both pretended wasn't there. It wasn't soft or tentative. It was a storm breaking, his fingers tangling in my shirt, my hands instinctively cupping his face as if I'd been waiting lifetimes for this map of stubble and warmth. Bourbon and salt, and him. Finally, undeniably him. We broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed together, the world tilting on its axis. Alex, my voice was a wreck, hoarse with the weight of it all. What the fuck had just happened? Best friends didn't. We weren't. But God, the way his breath hitched against my skin, the vulnerability cracking through his lawyer facade, it felt like coming home. He pulled back just enough to search my eyes, his own glistening. I've wanted that since college. Ethan. Buried it deep because you're straight, because we're bros, because losing you. He trailed off, voice breaking. Sarah's great, but she's not you. No one is. The room spun, memories flashing like lightning. The time we'd skinny dipped in Lake Michigan after graduation, bodies brushing in the dark waves, the way he'd hold me after my dad's funeral, arms solid and silent, the jealousy I'd swallowed when he started dating her. Telling myself it was protectiveness, not possession. Was I straight or just scared? The label blurred, insignificant against the man trembling before me. I don't know what to say, I admitted, my thumb tracing his jaw, memorizing the line I'd ignored for years. This. Us. It could ruin everything. Or fix it, he whispered, fierce and fragile all at once. His hand covered mine, holding it there, as if anchoring us both. Outside, thunder rumbled, a low growl echoing the chaos in my chest. We sat like that for what felt like hours, breaths sinking, the unspoken question hanging, what now? Dawn crept in slow, painting the loft in bruised purples and golds, the rain a distant memory. We hadn't slept, talked instead, peeling back layers like old wallpaper, revealing fresh paint beneath. Alex confessed the doubts that had gnawed at him since law school, the parade of girlfriends as camouflage, the therapy sessions he bailed on, the way my laugh in a quiet classroom could unravel him from across town. I thought marriage would make it stop, he said, voice raw. That Sarah could be the answer. But it's you, Ethan. It's always been you haunting me. I listened, heart pounding, my own truths spilling out in fragments. The women I'd chased, mirrors of what society expected, nice, uncomplicated, ticking boxes I didn't even read. But with Alex, it was different, electric, inevitable. I thought I was broken, I told him, staring at our laced fingers. Feeling this pull toward you. Calling it friendship to sleep at night. What does that make me? Gay, he said simply. No judgment. Just fact wrapped in tenderness. Or bi. Or whatever the hell we want. But real. Finally real. We kissed again. Slower this time. Exploratory, like mapping uncharted territory we'd both circled for years. His lips soft against mine. Hands roaming with permission now. Igniting sparks I denied. It was terrifying. Exhilarating. The kind of intimacy that stripped you bare and rebuilt you stronger. By sunrise, we'd agreed, call off the wedding. Tell Sarah. Face the fallout together. But reality crashed in with the morning light, texts buzzing from his phone. Sarah's name flashing like an alarm. Where are you? Rehearsal in 2 hours. Panic flickered in his eyes. But he silenced it, pulling me close. We do this right. No half measures. The drive to her apartment was a blur of expressway and regret. Chicago's skyline mocking us with its unyielding grid. Sarah opened the door in a silk robe, hair tousled from a night alone, her green eyes sharpening at our disheveled states. Alex? Ethan? What's going on? He took her hands, voice steady despite the tremor I felt in his grip. Sarah, I love you, but not like that. Not the way you deserve. The words hung, brutal and kind, as tears welled in her eyes. She glanced at me, pieces clicking, the late nights, the inside jokes, the way we'd always orbit each other. Hurt flashed, then understanding, raw and ripping. You too, she whispered, stepping back. All this time, we nodded, the truth a weight lifting and crushing in equal measure. She didn't scream or shatter. Instead, she hugged us both, fierce and forgiving. I deserve better than a ghost. Go be happy. But don't fuck it up. We left with her blessing echoing, a fragile gift in the wreckage. The weeks that followed were a whirlwind, canceled invitations, awkward family calls, my principal pulling me aside with concerned brows. Everything okay? Harper, you seem distracted. Distracted? I was alive. Electric. Stealing kisses in my classroom after hours. Alex's suits rumpled on my thrift store couch. But drama shadowed us like the city's underbelly. His firm partners whispered, the golden boy queer? Clients balked. Cases slipped. My school buzzed with rumors. Parents petitioning for my transfer. Think of the kids one email read, laced with venom. We fought it together, therapy sessions in neutral offices, pride flags on our balconies, nights where doubt crept in and we'd hold each other until dawn chased it away. One evening, 6 months in, we walked the lakefront, wind whipping off Michigan's waves, the same spot we confessed boyhood dreams. Alex stopped, dropping to one knee, not with a ring, but a simple keychain shaped like our high school emblem. No rush, he said, eyes shining. But build this with me? A life, not a label. Tears stung as I pulled him up, kissing him under the setting sun. Yes. All in the end. It wasn't the kiss that changed everything. It was choosing the mess over the mask. Love, messy and true, in the heart of America where secrets fester and truths set you free. We weren't heroes or tragedies, just two men, rewriting our story, one heartbeat at a time. The first real test came not from the world outside, but from within, My own fractured reflection staring back from the bathroom mirror one crisp autumn morning. 9 months after that rain-soaked revelation. Alex was in the kitchen of our shared brownstone in Wicker Park, humming off-key to some indie playlist as he scrambled eggs, his bare feet padding on the hardwood we'd refinished together. Domestic bliss, they'd call it, the kind splashed across brunch menus and therapy ads. But as I gripped the sink, knuckles white, the word gay echoed like a foreign language I was still conjugating. Was this me? Or was just him rewriting my script? I'd come out to my sister first, over lukewarm coffee at our childhood diner in Oak Park. Ethan's got a boyfriend, she'd teased, then hugged me fierce when the joke fell flat. Mom and Dad, that was a minefield. Dad, the retired cop with his faded Bears cap and opinions forged in the 80s, grunted over Thanksgiving turkey, as long as you're happy. Son, but his eyes said volumes, confusion, a flicker of disappointment I swallowed like bitter pills. Mom baked extra pies, her way of mending, but the silence at family dinners stretched taut. Alex navigated it smoother, his lawyer poise a shield. His parents, progressive academics from Evanston, threw a welcome to the family barbecue, complete with rainbow cupcakes and dad jokes about tying the knot, legally this time. Sarah even showed, elegant in emerald green, toasting us with a wry smile, to second chances. She'd landed a promotion, dated a barista with tattoos, blooming in ways that eased the guilt gnawing at me. Still, in quiet moments, I'd wonder, had we stolen her light? Work was the gauntlet. My classroom, once a sanctuary of dusty maps and Civil War anecdotes, turned battlefield. Whispers slithered through lockers, Mr. Harper's one of those, a star pupil. Jamie, corner me after class, eyes wide. Is it true about you and Mr. Reynolds? Alex had guest lectured once, charming the socks off sophomores. I nodded, heart hammering. Yeah. And it's okay. Love is love. He grinned, fist bumping me out the door, kids. Resilient mirrors of our own buried fears. But not all bent. A parent meeting devolved into veiled threats. My daughter admires you, Mr. Harper. But this lifestyle. The word curdled. I filed a complaint, backed by the union, but the principal's office felt like a confessional booth, absolving sins I didn't commit. Alex was my rock then, storming in with depositions and fire. They're dinosaurs, he'd rage later, pacing our living room, sleeves rolled up like battle flags. We'll sue if we have to. His firm was no picnic either. Billable hours dipped as clients reconsidered their queer counsel. Late nights bled into dawn. Briefs scattered like fallen leaves across the dining table. I'd brew coffee, rub his shoulders knotted with stress, whispering, "You're unbreakable." One case, a discrimination suit for a trans kid, hit too close. He won. But the victory tasted hollow. Shadows of our own fight lingering. Intimacy wove through the strain, a lifeline of skin and sighs. Our first real date, post coming out, was a picnic in Millennium Park, bean-shaped skyline winking overhead. He packed falafel wraps, his attempt at romance, and we fed each other under the stars, laughter bubbling like the fountain nearby. That night, back home, we explored unhurried, his fingers tracing my scars from childhood bike crash, my lips mapping the constellation of freckles across his chest. "You're beautiful," I murmured, meaning every inch, the lawyer's confidence cracking into vulnerability, the friend's familiarity blooming into passion. We moved together slow, then urgent, bodies sinking like they'd always known the rhythm. Afterward, tangled in sheets scented with us, he traced lazy circles on my back. This is worth every storm, yet storms brewed. Holiday season hit like a freight train, his family's liberal cheer clashing with mine's stoic unease. Christmas Eve, Dad pulled me aside in the garage, tools clinking like accusations. Son, I love you. But it's hard. Church says, his voice cracked, eyes wet. I hugged him, the man who'd taught me to throw a curveball, now fumbling his own pitch. Dad, it's me. Same heart. We stood there, oil-stained and awkward, bridging the gap one exhale at a time. New Year's brought a curveball of its own, a call from Sarah, voice trembling over the line. I'm pregnant. The words landed like snow soft. Then avalanche. Not Alex's, her barista's, but the timing twisted the knife. She was scared, joyful, terrified. We rallied, Alex drafting her maternity leave, me sourcing the best OB in the city. At her shower, I held her hand through contractions of laughter and tears, whispering, "You've got this." Warrior queen, in her eyes, forgiveness solidified, no victims, just survivors scripting new chapters. Spring thawed the ice, but not without floods. A school board hearing loomed, parents petitioning my removal. Protecting values, they claimed, faces twisted in the fluorescent glare. Alex prepped me like a witness, stick to facts. Your impact on those kids. I did. Voice steady, tales of students who'd confided their own secrets, inspired by my honesty. The board relented, barely, but the wind felt pyrrhic, exhaustion settling like fog. That night, we escaped to the dunes of Indiana, a weekend rental with lake views and no Wi-Fi. We hiked trails lined with wildflowers, hands linked, talking futures, adoption maybe, or fostering the lost boys we'd both been. Evenings by the fire, his head on my lap, I'd read aloud from dog-eared histories, Stonewall riots, Harvey Milk's defiance, reminders that our story echoed giants. One dusk, as fireflies danced, he knelt again, this time with a ring, simple platinum, engraved with our initials intertwined. Marry me, Ethan. Not for show, for us. Tears blurred the sunset. Yes, I choked, pulling him into the light. Love wasn't a label. It was this raw, resilient, rewriting the narrative. Summer unfurled like a banner of possibility, the ring on my finger catching sunlight as we navigated the humid haze of Chicago's streets. But beneath the glow lurked undercurrents, ripples from the hearing that had stirred more than sediment. Anonymous emails trickled in, slurs scrawled in block letters. Pervert teacher, etched into my car door one muggy dawn. Alex wanted to press charges, his lawyer instincts flaring. But I wave him off. Let them hate. It only proves we are right. Secretly, though, doubt gnawed. Was I endangering the kids I swore to protect? Jamie, my young ally, started a GSA club. Rainbow stickers blooming on lockers like defiant blooms. But even he confided fears his own coming out, the backlash from cousins with Bibles and biases. We planned the wedding quietly, a backyard affair in his parents' Evanston garden, Wildflowers and string lights instead of tuxes and toasts. No bachelor party redux. Instead, a rehearsal dinner at our favorite hole-in-the-wall tavern, with a bartender knew our orders by heart. Sarah arrived with baby bump glowing. Her barista bow tall, inked, named Marco, trailing with a shy grin. To family. Fucked up and fabulous, she toasted, clinking her mocktail against ours. Laughter flowed, easing the knots. But as the night waned, Alex pulled me aside in the alley, neon buzzing overhead. You sure about this? The world's not kind to us yet. I cupped his face, thumb brushing the worry lines I'd kiss away later. Because of you, I am. We made love that night urgent, reclaiming each other against the sheets. His moans a symphony drowning out the ghosts. Fall brought harvest and heartbreak intertwined. My dad, ever the stoic, showed up unannounced at school one Tuesday. Bear's cap pulled low, a manila envelope clutched like a shield. Brought something, he muttered, handing it over in the empty hallway. Inside, clippings from the 90s, yellowed articles on gay rights marches, a faded photo of two men, uncles I'd never known, arm in arm at a rally. Your great uncles. Family secret. They fought for this. His voice roughened. Didn't know how to say it before. But I'm proud. Ethan. Of you. We hugged, tears soaking his flannel, the hallway echoing with a father's quiet redemption. Alex's battles escalated meanwhile. A high-profile client bailed, citing personal conflicts, the firm's partners convening in smoke-filled rooms sans the smoke. He came home hollow-eyed, tie discarded like shed skin. They want me gone, he confessed over takeout lo mein. Chopsticks idle. Safer without the scandal. Rage boiled in me. Hot and helpless. Fuck them. Start your own firm. Defend the ones who need it. Inspiration struck like lightning. A queer legal aid nonprofit. Pro bono for the marginalized. He lit up, sketching logos on napkins. Our kitchen transforming into war room. Calls to Sarah. Marco. Old allies, momentum built. A phoenix from ashes. Winter whispered in with first snow, blanketing the city in hush. But our lives crackle with change. The GSA thrived. Jamie's leadership drawing crowds. And I mentored quietly lessons on allyship woven into history units, turning textbooks into testaments. One student, a shy freshman named Riley, lingered after class. Sir, your story. It gave me courage. He came out that week, parent supportive. A small victory stacking like bricks in our foundation. Alex's launch party was electric aloft downtown, packed with supporters, rainbow flags fluttering like heartbeats. Sarah emceed, winking at me, to my ex and his hot teacher. May your arguments always end in bed. Laughter roared. Marco's arm around her, their baby kicking in time. As confetti rained, Alex pulled me to the balcony. City lights sprawling below. We did this, he murmured, nuzzling my neck. You and me against the tide. But tides turned fierce. Valentine's dawned blood red, a brick through our brownstone window. Sodomites scrawled in marker. Police came. Sympathetic but stretched, hate crime backlog, they sighed. Alex paced, fury etching his face, while I swept glass, hands shaking. That night, we fortified, not with bars, but vulnerability, a podcast interview. Our voices raw over airwaves, sharing the kiss, the struggles, the love. Listeners flooded in, messages of solidarity, a donor for his firm, invitations to speak. The brick became a badge, turning poison to power. Spring renewal mirrored our own. The wedding day, May blossoms perfuming the air, garden alive with loved ones. I'll walk the aisle, petals underfoot, to Alex, resplendent in linen suit, eyes locked like vows already spoken. Vows we wrote ourselves, in storms and silences. I choose you. Rings exchanged, kiss sealing it under an arch of roses. Cheers erupting like fireworks. Sarah, holding her newborn niece, early arrival. A fighter like her mom. Teared up, perfect. Honeymoon in the Smokies. Cabins and creeks. We hiked to waterfalls. Bodies slick with mist and desire. Evenings by the fire. Stories swapped. Futures painted with foster kids' laughter. Courtrooms won for the voiceless. This is legacy, he said, head on my chest. Not labels, but lives touched. Back home, the nonprofit boomed. Cases stacking, evictions halted, adoptions greenlit. My tenure track solidified, a book deal on queer history in the works. Dad visited, awkward but earnest, grilling burgers and grilling us on plans. Grandkids, he ventured. We laughed. Soon. Pop. Our way. 1 year in. A quiet anniversary. Rooftop picnic. Stars pricking the velvet sky. Alex raised a glass. To the unexpected that became everything. I kissed him. Tasting forever dramatic. Devoted. Deeply human. Yet even in the bloom of our rebuilt world, shadows lingered, not dramatic tempests, but the subtle erosion of time and trial, testing the mortar of our bond like wind on weathered stone. 2 years married, and the honeymoon haze had evaporated, leaving the everyday alchemy of compromise, his late nights at the nonprofit clashing with my early mornings grading essays. Arguments flaring over forgotten dishes, or whose turn it was to walk the rescue dog we'd adopted. A scruffy, mutt-named Scout, fitting our scavenger hearts. You're pulling away, I'd accuse. Voice edged with the old fear of loss. Just work, he'd counter, exhausted eyes pleading understanding. But beneath it pulsed deeper, the unspoken grief of what we'd upended. The what-ifs whispering in quiet hours. Sarah's life paralleled ours in joyful symmetry. Marco proposing under the same park fountain. Their wedding a bohemian bash with food trucks and fiddles. Our gift a crib hand-sanded by Alex's unsteady hands. Their daughter, Lila, arrived with Alex's blue eyes and Sarah's fire. A tiny bridge mending old fractures. We babysat often, Lila's gurgles filling our brownstone with echoes of futures unlived. Uncle Ethan, she'd coo, tugging my hair. And in those moments, the ache eased, what we'd stolen from Sarah bloomed manifold. Love multiplying like loaves and fishes. Professionally, pinnacles beckoned. Alex's firm expanded. A beacon for LGBTQ plus cases nationwide, testifying before Congress on adoption rights. His silver tongue, now a sword for the silenced. Headlines dubbed him the advocate, but late nights, he collapsed beside me, whispering, "It's for us. 2. The kid will foster someday." My book launched to acclaim. Hidden Threads, Queer Voices in American History, shelved in libraries from coast to coast. School assemblies booked solid. Teens approaching with teary thanks. You made me see myself. Riley, now a college freshman, interned at Alex's office. Full circle of mentorship. But personal tempests brewed anew. Dad's health faltered, prostate cancer. Stage 2. The word remission, a fragile talisman. Hospital vigils became ritual, Mom's rosaries clicking. Alex's hand in mine under sterile lights. Dad's gruff jokes masking fear. "If I don't make it," he rasped one night. "Tell your mom I loved her fierce." We did more. Alex navigating insurance labyrinths. Me reading aloud from my book. Tales of resilience that mirrored his fight. Chemo cycles blur days. But family knit tighter. Holiday tables groaning with pies. Laughter defying the shadow. A curve came from left field. Fertility whispers turned to action. We pursued fostering, home studies, interviews, the bureaucracy a gauntlet of "Are you stable?" Committed, as if love had auditions. The match, twin boys. 6 years old. Yanked from neglectful home. Eyes wide with wariness. Tommy and Ben, freckled whirlwinds with questions sharper than scalpels. "Are you going to leave?" Tommy asked on night 1, clutching a stuffed bear. "Never," Alex vowed, tucking them in, my throat tight. Nights stretched sleepless, tantrums testing tempers. But joys pierced through. Ben's first baseball swing in our backyard. Tommy's artwork papering the fridge, stick figure us. Labeled dads. Parenting cracked us open further. Vulnerabilities spilling like overfilled cups. One midnight meltdown. Tommy screaming of monsters under the bed. Alex broke, sobbing in my arms. What if we're not enough? What if we fuck them up like we were? I held him, rocking like we'd rock the boys. We're enough because we try. That's the human part. Therapy resumed. Tandem sessions unpacking our scars, his closet-born shame. My late-blooming identity. "You're my mirror," he said one session. Tears carving paths. Reflecting the best. External gales howled too. National tides shifting. Rights rolled back in red states. Protests flaring from D.C. Toward doorstep. We marched. Signs aloft. Love wins. Fight for it. A rally turned ugly. Bottles flying. Alex shielding a teen protester. Cut on his brow. Home. Bandaging him. Fury and fear mingled in my kiss. "We can't stop," he insisted. Bruise blooming like a medal. For Tommy. Ben, for every kid like us. Anniversaries marked milestones. 3rd year. A vow renewal in the garden. Boys in tiny suits scattering petals. Sarah officiating with Lila as flower girl. In the face of it all, she intoned. You chose each other. Rings re-exchanged. Cake smeared on cheeks. The night dissolved into family chaos. Perfect. Pandemonium. For years in, Dad beat cancer. Remission holding like a promise kept. He walked Lila down an imaginary aisle at her first wedding to scout the dog, chuckling through tears. You boys did good, he told us later, over beers on the porch. Taught an old dog new tricks. As autumn leaves turned, we adopted the twins officially. Courtroom seen a blur of tears and stamps. Alex's voice cracking on Forever Family. That night, backyard fire pit crackling. Boys roasting marshmallows. We stole a moment. This is the unexpected, I murmured, his hand warm in mine. The everything that changed. Love, it turned out, wasn't a single kiss or shattering night. It was the daily defiance. The tender repairs. The legacy we built brick by bruised brick. In America's vast, varied heart, we found ours, beating strong, unapologetic, eternally intertwined. Years folded like pages in a well-loved tome. Each chapter etched with the patina of trials endured and triumphs savored. Our lives a tapestry woven from the threads of that fateful bachelor party kiss, now a legend retold at dinner tables, eliciting blushes from the boys and winks from Sarah. 5 years married, and the brownstone-brimmed Tommy and Ben, lanky at 11, dominating soccer fields and science fairs, their laughter a balm against the world's sharper edges. Scout, gray-muzzled sentinel, snooze by the hearth, while Lila, a whirlwind toddler under Sarah's eagle eye, commandeered sleepovers with imperious demands for Uncle E's stories. Alex's nonprofit had metastasized into a national force, satellites in L.A. In Atlanta, briefs arguing before the Supreme Court on marriage equality's fragile flanks. Accolades piled, TED Talks, magazine covers, but he wore them lightly, donating gala proceeds to youth shelters. It's not me, he'd say, deflecting praise. It's us, the community that carried us. Nights, though, exhaustion carved hollows under his eyes. I draw baths scented with eucalyptus, massaging knots from his shoulders. Our touches evolving from passion's fire to comfort's steady glow. You're my anchor, he'd sigh, leaning back into me, water rippling like echoes of our younger selves. My career crested too, a tenure professor at Northwestern, adjuncting queer history seminars that overflowed with eager faces. The book spawned a sequel, Echoes of Us, delving into modern narratives, interviews with folks like Riley, now a lawyer at Alex's firm, fierce and fabulous. School visits persisted, but now with co-presentations, Alex and I tag-teaming assemblies, fielding Q&As with the ease of old pros. How'd you know? A girl asked once, voice small. When the world felt wrong, I replied, Alex's hand brushing mine. He made it right. Family orbits stabilized. Constellations aligning. Dad, cancerous scar faded to memory. Coach Tommy's team, barking encouragement with newfound zeal. Mom hosted progressive potlucks, rainbow casseroles drawing neighbors wary at first, then warm. Sarah and Marco's clan grew, Lila's brother, a chubby-cheeked cherub named Theo, and our broods merged seamlessly, block parties with water balloons and barbecues, kids tumbling in joyous chaos. We're the originals, Sarah joked 1/4. Fireworks blooming overhead, the ones who bent but didn't break. Challenges, inevitable as seasons, tested resolve. The boys' questions bloomed thorny. Why do some kids say we're weird? Ben ventured. Homework forgotten. We sat them down. Maps unrolled. History's hard lessons on Stonewall. Loving v. Virginia. The fights etched in our veins. Weird is wonderful, Alex said, ruffling hair. Means you're you. Therapy for them too. Play sessions unpacking bioparent ghosts. Fostering resilience like we'd learned. A national storm hit mid-decade. Rollback rulings gutting protections. Protests erupting coast to coast. We loaded the van, boys bundled. Signed sharp and joined D.C. Throngs. Chants rising like anthems. Tension crackled. Scuffles broke out. But we linked arms with Riley, Sarah, Marco, a human chain unyielding. Back home, media called, local heroes speak out. Alex's op-ed in the Tribune went viral. My podcast episode, a download surge. Pushback followed, trolls online. A defaced office sign, but solidarity surged, donations doubled. Volunteers tripled. Personal tides ebb too. Alex hit 40. A milestone marked by a surprise party in the garden, balloons bobbing, cake layered with his favorites. But mirrors betrayed, silver threading his curls, laugh lines deepening. Getting old, he quipped, but eyes held flicker, mortality's whisper. We countered with adventure, a cross-country road trip, echoes of our youth. Boy shotgun with playlists and snacks. Badlands to Big Sur. We chased sunsets. Skinny dipping in Utah streams, PG-rated for the kids. Campfire tales, spinning futures, college for the twins. Perhaps a daughter next. Full house, I teased, his head on my shoulder under stars. Full heart, 10th anniversary, dawn golden. A vow renewal on that Lake Michigan shore. Waves lapping like applause. Family gathered, Dad toasting with shaky pride. Mom dabbing tears. Sarah's crew complete with toddlers toddling. Boys read poems they'd penned, awkward and aching with love. In every unexpected, Alex vowed. Ring glinting, I choose you again. Kiss sealed. Salt kissed and sun warmed. Cheers rose, a chorus of the life we'd forged. Decades in brought quiet profundity, fostering a teen. Jordan, 16 and storm-tossed, navigating transition with us as guides. His first Pride Parade, arm in arm, rainbow face paint smudged with tears. I see a future now. That's the value, the ripple. The proof that one kiss's chaos births cascades of courage. As snow dusted the brownstone once more, Alex and I stood on the porch, boys' lights twinkling within, city humming soft. Changed everything, he murmured, hand in mine. Indeed, from best friends to beloveds, we'd scripted a saga of suspense and serenity. Romance's raw edge honed by humanity's grind. In America's beating heart, love endured, not flawless, but fierce, forever ours.